Welcome to Zoom and Vroom, brought to you by the Polk County History Center. Today, we are exploring Polk's iconic citrus industry. Historic shipping crate labels to colorful songs and delicious recipes, citrus is woven into our shared history. In preparation for today's program, please have on hand your Zoom and Vroom packet and a sense of adventure. Is everybody ready? We'll go live in 3, 2, 1. Hello everyone, and welcome to our very first Zoom and Vroom live from the PGTV studio. My name is Jayme Jamison, and I am the Curator of Education and Visitor Engagement at the Polk County History Center. But on the second Saturday of each month, I become your magical history and heritage fairy. We're so happy to have you here today. A little bit of housekeeping before we begin. I want to make sure that everybody retains the mute option on their Zoom screen as we go through. That way we make sure everybody can hear us. And we expect today's program to last approximately 45 minutes. Now, if you're not able to join us for the duration of the program, don't worry. We're going to be recording this and making it available on the county's YouTube page and the county's Facebook page. So everybody will have a chance to get caught up and watch it at their own leisure. Finally, we're going to be monitoring the chat throughout the program. So if you have questions, please feel free to chop them into the chat room. And if they're for Savannah, our guest, will get to answer those. And then I will answer some if they're related to the program. So let's get started. When we look at an orange, lemon, or lime, we may not always appreciate the journey it made to get to us. Since the mid to late 1800s, Polk County farmers have perfected this process. They've created a legacy that endures so much so that in 2002, Polk County was projected to be the top citrus producing county in the state of Florida. To see how this is achieved, let's join Historic Preservation Manager Myrtice Young out on the Heritage Trail as she shows us how the crop has historically gotten from the grove to you. Take it away, Myrtice.
The Central Florida area, especially Polk County, provides the perfect climate, soils, and terrain for citrus growing. Groves are visible as you travel across the county. Smelling the sweet orange blossoms in the spring is part of living in Polk County. Traditionally, citrus fruit is picked from the tree by workers using tall ladders to reach the top of the trees. The fruit is collected in a bag with an opening on one end called a picker's bag. The contents can be tipped into a field crate or bin at the end of each row in the grove. These boxes and bins are then loaded onto a truck for transportation to a processing plant for canned fruit and juices or to a packing house. The packing house receives the fruit destined to be shipped as fresh fruit. About 10% of the annual citrus harvest actually is shipped to the fresh fruit market. The processing at the packing house readies the fruit. First by washing it, then sorting it into type, quality, and size, through a series of conveyors and workers. A citrus inspector certifies that the fruit to be packed meets the established guidelines for that particular shipment. The fruit is then packed into bags and loaded into wooden crates. Before crates were the standard for shipping, barrels were used. Crates became the standard due to ease of loading and stacking. Early transportation was done by horse and cart to the market. Options progressed over time to include trucks, trains, or steamships for passage to distribution centers and markets. In the late 1880s through 1900s, California citrus produced the most fruit for fresh market sales. With less humidity present on the West Coast, the peel of the skin is a more visually appealing product. Florida fruit skin may have more blemishes on the outside, but is recognized as containing more juice inside. Florida became a competitor in the fresh fruit market with the advancements made in refrigerated and ventilated railroad transportation. The largest markets in the north are located in New York, Indiana, and Illinois, which are closer geographically to Florida than California. At this time, many packing houses began to locate near a highway or railroad to expedite shipments.
Family and private growers combined into cooperatives and exchanges to secure contracts for best transportation cost to ship in bulk, allowing the smaller growers to combine with the larger growers to sell their product.
With the establishment of the Florida Citrus Commission in 1935, rates were regulated and locked in, providing Florida growth in the fresh fruit arena. A large warehouse was the final destination for the crated fruit prior to distribution to grocery stores and markets. Imagine a dimly lit room with thousands of wooden crates stacked to the ceiling, some marked only with a burnished logo, such as you would find to identify cattle on one end of the crate. Buyers would come in and not know exactly what fruit was inside each crate. Following the lead from the California market, the idea of placing a colorful label at the end of the crate would present the buyer with more information and better identification to develop product loyalty and branding. Showing Florida with warmer weather and flowering winters would foster interest in the winter buyers in northern markets, an alternative to the cold and snow. Early branding began in the late 1880s with packing house and exchange logos printed on thin tissue papers. Packing house workers would wrap the tissue around each fruit before loading into the crate. This helped to protect the fruit during shipping and establish the originating grove. The period of 1880 to 1900 began to distinguish the outside of the box for quality of the product inside by adhering a colorful label to the crate. Some of these early labels featured California landscapes and landmarks, which were stock art at the lithographers, then printed with the names of Florida groves and growers. These landscapes were eventually replaced with flora and fauna that showcased the Florida natural environment. To keep costs down, the labels were ordered by the thousands, with the same design being used for several years.
The health benefits of citrus and vitamin C were included in the text of the citrus labels.
In February 1920, through the efforts of J.W. Sample, a carload of grapefruit was shipped free of charge by the Florida Citrus Exchange to Chicago for use of the sufferers of the flu epidemic in that city. 1900 and 1920 is considered the golden age of the crate label, with most fruit shipped in crates with the distinguishable labels. Many themes evolved that would attract the typically male buyer. Prominent themes include Native Americans, wildlife and hunting, fishing, adventure, and beautiful girls. Some companies retained a particular theme, such as royalty or a particular animal. In the decades from 1920 to 1940, labels progressed as printing processes improved to include a variety of colors and more printer options, such as photo offset, which allowed for personalizing to include photographs of children, family, pets, and the packing houses. An image of a toddler would be changed to reflect that of a young boy or girl. Post and pre-war years featured automobiles and airplanes, which would be updated with the latest models.
The holidays are a popular time to buy and gift fresh fruit. Labels such as the Holly Hill Christmas label were designed to appeal to vendors who were purchasing fruit for this special season.
From 1940 to 1960, labels continued to depict Florida through a variety of themes such as nostalgic Southern romance, religious connections, historic sites, and the arts. On most people's minds was the United States' involvement with the World War. In 1943, the Florida Citrus Commission recommitted to keep the name of Florida citrus products before the public, to show the great importance of these products in feeding and maintaining the health and vigor of the armed forces, and to pave the way for the marketing of greater quantities of these products after the war. Through the war years, wood crates were considered the best shipping method to protect the fruit and keep costs down. During the war, shortages of wire and wood prompted introduction of a newer container, the cardboard box. The corrugated boxes were just as durable in protecting the fruit during shipment, but lighter weight. In place of adhering a crate label, the boxes could be printed with the logo and buyer information on the box. By 1967, the traditional wood crate and label system was eliminated, making them a thing of the past.
From the beginning, growers, packing houses, and exchanges worked with national printers, with Florida printers eventually entering into label production, such as Bartow Printing Company and Florida Grower Press in Tampa. Florida Grower Press actually produced over 70% of all labels registered with the Florida Citrus Exchange.
These large printing companies used contract artists to do the drawings and designs without any formal acknowledgement of their contributions. This makes it hard to determine which artist was the creator of the label. Some of these artists, at the start of their careers, went on to become better known, such as Norman Rockwell. A 4-color process was used to produce most labels, using light blue, yellow, red, and dark blue. Most printers kept stock labels on hand in case a packing house needed something quickly or ran out. These standard labels were less expensive to use and could be printed with the name of the packers or shippers. This is why you might see labels that look exactly alike, but from different areas and different growers.
The citrus label is more than artistry and advertisement. It served a distinct purpose.
Beginning in 1935, each one was registered with the Florida Department of Citrus, telling the buyer not only the brand, but what grade of fruit was contained. In the heyday of the label, over 5,000 individual labels were in use, each one certified and registered. Only the fruit registered could be shipped under that particular label. One key feature in the graphic, the color background or a color used in the name brand, meant blue, grade A top quality fresh fruit. Red, grade B, lesser quality, smaller in size. Yellow or green, grade C, not attractive peel but good fruit inside. Black, cooperatives and exchanges. The standard size for the labels was 9 inches by 9 inches square, which fit snugly in the center of the end of the box. A strip label was half that size in height or width, 4.5 inches by 9 inches for smaller fruit, or half boxes, or placed on a diagonal at the end of the crate. So the labels found glued to the crates are hard to remove with the label intact.
Many packing houses in Polk County are no longer in use. The few that remain have come through the ups and downs of the citrus industry, including freezes, diseases, and pests.
Citrus labels were created to be throwaway items. Once used, they had no further purpose. Packing houses kept archival collections for the registry, but for the most part, labels were destroyed or thrown away. If a wall needed patching, labels might hold a temporary fix until it could be plastered. Some of the printing companies and warehouses stored excess labels away and became forgotten. Collectors have found labels in attics, warehouses, and under floorboards. The inexpensive paper used in producing the labels makes them become more fragile as they age. Combining all these factors makes collecting labels an interesting and challenging pursuit. Here in Polk County, we continue to embrace the richness of our historical and current connection to citrus culture. We invite you to hit the road, see the Citrus Label Tour while you're visiting the Polk County History and Heritage Trail.
Okay, I bet it's not going to be long before drones or unmanned aerial vehicles are delivering fresh fruit directly to your front door. And personally, I'm here for it. I cannot get enough fresh fruit. What did you think was the most interesting part of the process? For me, having grown up with Mr. Rogers' neighborhood and seeing all the behind-the-scenes videos on factories work, I think watching the citrus move along and be sorted on the conveyor belts was probably the most interesting. Some of the artifacts that we have on display at the Polk County History Center include tools used in the field by pickers or in the home by you and I to squeeze the oranges and create homemade orange juice. Now, speaking of the Grove, we are pleased to welcome to the chat Savannah Reynosa from Ridge Island Grove in Haines City. Ridge Island Grove is one of the stops on your driving tour. This family-owned business provides fresh produce, juice, and even gives you pick tours of the Grove. Welcome, Savannah.
Good morning.
Hi. So we have a few questions for you, Miss Savannah, and I have Yasmin in the control room. She's going to be watching the chat to see what some of our guests come up with. But we'll go ahead and start with the first one. And you are the agriculturalist at Ridge Island Grove. Can you tell us a little more about that job and what type of training you took to get there?
I do a little bit of everything here. I do anything from retail to I even go pick peaches. I just do it all. I went to the University of Florida and I majored in agriculture. But I have to say the best training was on the job. Just the everyday things that I had to do here, that was by far the best training I could have ever gotten.
So did you go straight from the University of Florida to Ridge Island, or did you have a chance to kind of check out some of the different groves across the state?
I was here first, and then I did have to leave for a year, and I finished that, and then I came back. I was going to go and teach school, and I just I think I love this so much more, kind of being out here and being outdoors. I decided to stay here.
Okay, so I have to tell you, I moved to Polk County in 2014. And my favorite thing when I moved here was the first spring that I spent here, and I'd walk out my front door and I'd say, it smells so lovely outside. And someone said, hey, those are the orange blossoms. Yeah. So I haven't quite smelled that yet this season, but I know the oranges are starting to develop on the fruit. If people come out to the groves, what are they going to see out there right now?
So right now, if you go out, we have pineapple oranges that are just coming into season. We also have some temple oranges that will be coming in sometime next month. And the orange blossom flower will also be sometime in February. You just never really know. Every season, they can come on sooner, they can come on a little later, but we're thinking February for sure. The orange blossom flower will be on the trees, and you'll be able to smell them pretty soon.
Yes, okay. Now I do have to ask you, I know that there is a great internet debate as to whether pineapples belong on pizza. So what is the deal with pineapples and oranges?
These trees are probably about six years old now, but yeah, it's not something you would find in the grocery stores.
Neat. All right, so now we have pictures in the archives of some of the orange grove pickers. They're climbing up super tall ladders that are very narrow, and they don't look OSHA certified. So I'm assuming that's not how they do it today. How do you guys go out and get the oranges off your trees?
So everything still is hand-picked, and they do use ladders. Now, they don't use the old wooden ladders like they used to.
Very narrow at the top.
Yeah, so now they actually have aluminum ladders that are probably a little safer. Sometimes wood can rot, and you'll lose a step, but they still use the same type of ladder, but now it's just made out of aluminum. and they still use the bag. So everything in the state is still all hand-picked. There's no machines. Oranges like to hang on the tree pretty tight. Some of them you actually have to give them a little twist and kind of pop it off. So it's still done the same way. It's a lot easier now as far as the crates. We have forklifts that'll take them off of the trucks when they come in. It's not all hand taken off, but it's still, as far as the picking though, it's all the same.
Oh, wow. That's it's crazy. I guess I don't want to offend the oranges, but they must be pretty stubborn fruit that they have been not able to be wrangled in by technology like other produce.
I know. And sometimes some of them, certain varieties, you'll have to even clip them. You don't even want to pull them off. They're a little stubborn, I guess you can say.
Yeah, it's definitely labor intensive. And I know we're all grateful to the people that go out in the groves and pick those for us.
Yeah.
So speaking of technology, is there any type of new technology in the industry or that you guys use out at Ridge Island that's kind of up and coming and fascinating?
So something that we just started doing last spring, all of our new trees that we planted, it's like a mesh bag, a white bag. I don't know if you've seen them out in groves, but we're covering all of our new young trees with this mesh bag. It protects it from the Asian psyllid that causes greening disease. So we'll keep it on the tree for about 2 or 3 years, as long as it's small enough. And it'll get it through the first couple years and get it ready for the next stage to start producing. So that's something new that's, just started maybe 2 or 3 years ago, but that's what we're doing here.
Yeah, I know that's been a big research concern, is how do you address that virus that's harming the trees. And so that's really interesting. I'm gonna have to look out for that. I hadn't heard of that. I know somebody told me once, superheating, and then the question is, well, how do you keep the grove superheated all the time? It's not really realistic.
Yeah, no, we've tried that as well, but we're trying the mesh bag this year. So far, the new trees look really good.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so now here is the hard question. If you had to design a crate label for Ridge Island Grove, what would be on the label?
If I had to, so we do have a mascot here.
Oh.
It's on the back of our shirts. It's a dog sitting on a chair under a palm tree drinking a glass of orange juice. Okay. I think that would have to be on the label. But if we didn't have a mascot, it would have to be something else. I would have to say a sandhill crane, because they're always around here. They're always here. You see them, you hear them, they're always here.
So for anybody that goes out to the Grove to do a tour with you, it's not just an agricultural tour, but it's bird watching as well?
Oh yeah, you'll see the sandhill cranes, the cows, the bees. I mean, you see all kinds of things, yeah. So you really learn a lot. It's just a lot to take in, and a lot of people enjoy it, just going out there and being, outside.
Fantastic. Now, you guys are open right now. Can you remind our guests of your hours? And I know that there's a cost if they want to go out there and do the U-Pick part.
Yep, so we're here Monday through Saturday from 9 to 5. We do the tours from 9 to 4. It's $8 a person. Anyone 4 and under is free. And you get to pick an orange while you're out there, each person. And if you want to pick more, you can. You just pay by the $1 a pound. And each tour typically lasts about half an hour. Okay. Sometimes it can go a little longer depending on how many questions you have, but typically half an hour.
All right. Well, we don't have any questions in the chat, but I am so pleased to have had you here and had the opportunity to answer my questions. If you don't mind, we're going to put this on our YouTube and Facebook, and if we get any questions off of it from there, I think I'll forward them off to you to have an expert response.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Just email them to me, and if they don't want to do the tour, we got fresh squeezed juice, we have ice cream. They can just come out and pay us a visit, just walk around the store.
Well, that sounds great. I know that our research historian, Preston, was out there a few weeks ago, and he enjoyed himself, and I'll probably be coming out soon with my almost 2-year-old, and he might be able to pick all the oranges for you. He's got much energy and likes to climb ladders. Well, thank you so much, Savannah. I hope that you have a very happy new year, and we look forward to seeing you out in the Grove.
You too. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. All right. So we are going to capture any remaining questions and see if we can get Savannah and the team to send us an update later with the answers. Remember that Ridge Island Groves is a destination on your Zoom and Vroom map, but it is located in Haines City at 6000 Polk City Road. They're the second stop on the driving tour. Visiting is free. But if you want to take a tour and have some you-pick opportunities, it starts at $8 per person. So, you're getting all excited about citrus. So before we wrap up today, I did want to take a second and recommend 2 books that are available through the Polk County Library Cooperative that make the allure of citrus even more appealing. One book is for young readers and the other for advanced readers. Let's check them out. For those looking to discover more about citrus in Florida, we suggest turning to your local library. We've gone ahead and researched 2 books that would be excellent options. For our advanced readers, you should check out Harriet Beecher Stowe's Palmetto Leaves. Palmetto Leaves is a true reflection of Stowe's experiences with her own orange grove in North Florida. For our younger readers and anyone who enjoys a little bit of fun and fantasy, we recommend An Orange in January. An Orange in January is a colorful story about the travel one orange takes from Florida to a market somewhere deep in the cold up north. Well, let's jump in and explore this book a little bit together, shall we? It grew slowly and steadily, fed by the earth's soil and the ocean's breath. Soaked with rain and drenched in sunshine, the orange grew plump and bright until a hand, brown with seasons of sun, plucked it from its branch, while dew still gathered on the leaves. Its days of growing were over, but there was life in it yet, and there was still far to go. If you want to see where that orange ends up, be sure to head down to your local library and check out An Orange in January. So we are definitely developing a pretty good knowledge base for citrus in Polk County. This is where the Vroom portion of the program comes into place, where you're getting ready to head out and hit the trail. I want to take a moment to review the materials in the Zoom and Vroom Pickers bag. Now remember, you can come pick this up at the Polk County History Center anytime. We'll have some down there, and when we run out of bags, we'll still have rack cards with the maps, but let's go ahead and check out what's in the bag. The first item you will find is your driving tour card. You can either punch these addresses in individually or scan the QR code to download the tour from Google Maps. To scan the QR code, simply open your camera and scan. This will prompt you to open a hyperlink to Google Maps. To select a site on the map, click or tap on one of the numbers. This will open additional windows at the bottom of your phone. From those windows, you can select the visible images to see videos or more images about the location. Or you can click the arrow inside the diamond to get driving directions from your current location. Once you arrive, close the window to return to the tour map and press the small white back arrow to select your next destination. Your picker's bag also contains a yummy recipe for orange juice cake, a photo prop to create Insta-worthy memories, postcards to send to friends and families and tell them all about citrus in Polk County, and a guide to fresh produce across Polk County. I'm so excited for you guys to be able to go out and hit the trail. We wanted you to be able to make a day out of this adventure, so we've chosen locations featured along an west to east drive from Davenport to Frostproof. The route covers 55 miles, and we estimate that with stops, the tour will take 4 to 5 hours or longer. If you truly enjoy yourself, you could be out there all day. We've also included ideas on places to grab a bite to eat and suggestions for photo opportunities as well. Make sure to use your little photo stick. Make sure and tag us as well. You can tag us at either @Polk County, #Zoom and Vroom, #Polk History Center, or #Citrus Tour. We're definitely going to be checking those out, and we might just be giving out some prizes for the best ones we see. Be sure to save the date for the next program. It is in February, and it is entitled Go West Polk Countian, where we'll be setting you out on the trail exploring sites from Lakeland to Mulberry. And until then, we wish you happy trails, and if you need any additional information, please feel free to email me at the Polk County History Center. I'll see you out there in the groves.